Morning, everybody. So welcome back to Outlaw Kustoms again. Monday morning. It's very frosty, but I haven't got the heater on because it's really nice sun, and I've opened the doors and hopefully that'll warm up. Fingers are a bit nippy, but it's not too bad. At least with the sun pouring in there, it's still, when you're in the sun, it doesn't feel too bad. But I'm going to attack the diff again. I'm just actually piecing back the column stuff. I'm just about finished with that. Put that bush back in there, and I've got the two shaft bits with the handles on. So I'm just getting the bottom piece dialed on with the little bits and pieces. I'm not really too panicked about that because I'm going to pull that switch back out when we throw the motor in before you get the bearing for the clutch. Still not really sure what we're doing here yet. We kind of know, but we don't really know. We're still trying to get to the point with this guy we've been talking to in the States to see if we can get a batch made just to pull the price down. If we have to take too long, we're just going to get one made to this company in the UK, through the local guys. But we've actually put that guy in touch with them. I think there's another company as well. We're just waiting to hear back from our other clutch with the guy that was trying to help us find stuff here, and obviously around through Australia and whatever else, as many sources that we could try and fish around for this last 4 months, basically it is, or whatever, how long it's been since I rebuilt that gearbox, and we're trying to find all those bits and pieces. It'll be a few months now, but yeah, we're trying to see whether he can get hold of them to get a batch made, to try and cut the cost down. Otherwise, yeah, we're $800 to $1,000 in New Zealand to get one made. If we have to do that, that's what we have to do. It's either that or we're making a new housing or something. We've got to make something somewhere to make something work. So yeah, it's just, what do you do? Like, we probably could make a housing, but it's still a lot of machine work. By the time you get it made, work out what bearing you can get and get it to fit and all that sort of stuff. You got to go through the whole process. So you're still getting a bearing, and you're still going to get a housing made of some description to suit what we've got, to get it to work and to be strong enough to push for the clutch fork to push on. That hasn't already been engineered to work in the car. And, you're still going to be probably $1,000 fucking dollars by the time you're done it anyway. So you might as well just get a bearing done and put in the original housing. No, it probably would be by the time you get it worked it all out, get it machined, all those sorts of things. Slightly bigger to take the slightly bigger bearing that we've got, and then just keep that nothing fouls or plays up or whatever, or you don't break the housing or whatever. So yeah, it's just a matter of trying all these things and see if we can get something to work. But yeah, we're just unfortunately at the mercy of trying to find something or sort something, or and trying to work out whether we can get a batch made. Most of them go to the States. We get one here and fit it in the car and away we go. So yeah, but I'll carry on with this diff shortly. I think I'm going to pull the pinion back out of it and see if I can just loosen off that felt seal, just so I can turn this pinion a bit easier. It's too much of a hassle. It's too tight. Just makes it very, very awkward to set up, to get a feel for it. I think I need to do that, and then we'll go from there. I'll just run those flappy wheel and around it a few more times, take a little bit more meat out of it, make sure it's a wee bit easier to slip over, not quite so tight, and hopefully by the time it gets a bit of oil in the end, swells up, then it takes up the slack. I don't want to make it too loose, but I just want to make it a little bit less of an effort to push over. so at least I can turn it with reasonable ease, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I'll get a little couple bits and pieces here finished and then we'll head to that. Right guys, so just talking to the owner, gotta order some shit. So we want this stuff, so we just want to try and see how wide it is. So that's 3/8 or 10 mil. That there, and the stuff over here at this end is, what's that? Appears to be about 3/4, huh? Yeah, it's about 20 mil, which is about, well, 20 mil is a bit over 3/4, so yeah, so it's about 3/4 and 3/8 for that stuff. So it's cool. While I'm here, I don't know if I'll be able to succeed, but I'm trying to see if I can get this badge off here. Wow. Maybe. Well, might have applied anyway, so at least I can try and move it. But yeah. So just want to order that stuff. I'm trying to order the windscreen rubber. Yeah. What we're doing at the moment anyway. Just thought that's a good opportunity to come and have a look at the genuine thing and just see what was on it. Alrighty, so yeah, just figured out all the webbing stuff, and we're looking on a site here in New Zealand to at least order something. So I've written just a couple, I have my little whiteboard over there, I've written a couple of numbers and bits and pieces down. Doesn't look like the 3/8 is available at the moment, but we can have a talk to them, because we're just looking at this one here. This is a grill shell we got that was the wrong thing. This has got like a rope almost in here, so maybe we could do something like that if we can't get, well, it's not really a rope, but you know what I mean, it's like a weave. Maybe we could do something like that if we can't get the proper flat 3/8 webbing that goes through here. We can get the 3/4, fine. There's actually two different styles of 3/4. One's got like a ribby edge, and one's got more of a flat edge. I don't really know what the difference is, so you'd have to see them side by side to have a real good look. But you can get that, both those fine. So it's just the grill shell one that's not available at the moment. Anyway, this here feels way better now too, that this doesn't flop around. Feels lots more positive. And that slight switch, which is really good. I'm happy with that. So that's cool. So now we'll finally have a decent look at this diff. We'll sort that out. And we'll have a coffee. We'll finish my coffee anyway. So, I want to pull this pinion out and just relieve that felt seal. Before I pull this apart too, the other thing we're trying to sort is obviously the spark plug wiring, the old braided, outside covering, like all the old school stuff, and a wiring kit, same sort of thing, that braided. So we're working on getting a kit for that to make stuff up. Apparently there's a guy, well, the guys that we normally get, or that you would normally get a lot of the vintage stuff off for in New Zealand, haven't got the plug wiring. So we're talking to another guy that does see a lot of the, obviously has a lot of the, just the standard wiring stuff. So yeah, apparently he can get we'll sort out a rough kit for some of this stuff. You know, obviously the length of wiring and whatever it needs is in the right gauges and stuff like that, because I'm not really sure what it would be. So you better have to talk to those guys and say they're going to organise us a kit and get that here, so we can get that together and obviously have a lot of the electrical connectors and all that sort of stuff, hopefully. So yeah, we're trying to get that organised too. We're trying to get windscreen rubbers sorted and hopefully come up with something for that Calvin, so we can put that together. So yeah, there's just a few other things that we've got in motion, if you guess you would call it, because we're kind of at that point, you know, if we can get this clutch bearing sometime in the next fucking 6 months. Yeah, we're not going to put the bastard together and make it run. So yeah, we'll carry on with this diff now. Oh, I gotta get Dad's puller. Or a puller. Yeah, I don't need a puller, I just need the press. Sometimes you just can't see the obvious. I was about to walk out the door and I was like, hold on a minute, I'll just set it up in the press. So I think something like this should do the job. Just need to push that off. Hopefully. I don't think it'll take too much to get that to move. It's just get it to move without doing something stupid into that frickin' shaft again, if you know what I mean. Right, so a couple of little things I've done. Is this piece here, this inner piece of this seal, this piece here was all kicked around like that. And I had a decent look at it. So I put an old bearing race in here and put it in the press, and I just flattened it off so it was all nice and even. So it holds just a bit squarer. So yeah, I'm going to try and take a bit more off this now that I just put this together with a bit of wood on it and just tapped it around with a hammer to try and squeeze it up. So now I'll take a bit more material out of here, so we're not pushing so much, trying to push so much of this through there, if you don't know what I mean. So we'll get a bit less of a tighter fit, hopefully, and not to be so much of a battle to turn this, and then we'll try and get this set up properly before we wind it in. Get the preload on these right. Oh, I'm still no further ahead. I'll just take the nut back off. You can see that's quite free there like that, but this piece won't even turn with it, even though it's not even locked on, but you know what I mean. So obviously the bearing's not too tight, it's just that's too tight in the seal. So I have to try and take a whole heap out of it, I guess. and get it so it's just, I don't know, and hopefully when it gets wet it swells up and it seals, I guess. I'm not used to working with this. So yeah, we'll pull it apart again. Keep trying. Right, so before we bugger off for lunch, I'm just basically got this sorted. I've just got this clamp in here. So I can turn this. I mean, no, unfortunately, that wants to turn by itself. But, so I think here, on this slot here, is the position I need it to be on. So if I try to take it to the next one, which is around here, then we can't, well, if I get it right around there, we're locked up. Well, you know, I'm not quite there with locking it up, so not that I really want to pull it up that hard, but I think here should be pretty good. But that, I can turn that reasonably freely. It's not ideal, but I can turn it reasonably freely, so I know that that should be, you know, like a wheel bearing. You know, if you pull it up and you can't turn it and it locks up on the next slot round to put the pin in, well, you go back to the next one. You know, with a wee bit of wear, you know, we do a few miles, might be able to pull it around, the next one will be fine, you know what I mean? But it's too much at this point, so I think that now should be good to go. So put that in there. And this here now should be locked up and good to go on there, which is what I should have done for a start off, but you live and learn. You know, not quite understanding, I guess, exactly how it worked within reason, if you know what I mean. So we'll lock this up, and then after lunch we'll put it back in the housing. Good to go, hopefully. I'll nip that up and we'll put it in the thing, but because it still wants to turn there, but when I pull it up hard tight it should be right. Just doesn't feel very secure doing it there like that, but that's free enough. I'm not really fighting, I'm not fighting the seal. It's tight, but it's, you know, you want it to be tightish, but you still want to be able to turn it. So, good. So yeah, we'll do the rest after lunch. Take that out there just in case it decides it wants to hit the deck. We don't need that. And then yeah, we'll get that reset in there and we'll check the, get it set up and check the lash, and then we'll try and fucking get the dye on there, or the paint on there to check the pattern, make sure we are right, and then we can dial it in, a little bit in, a little bit out, a little bit left and right to make sure it's good. Hopefully. Especially when you're learning to do this sort of stuff, you know, by myself, if you know what I mean. It's been a long time since I've set a diff up with help, if you know what I mean, a long time ago. But yeah, I understand how it works, and I know the pattern. You know, you got to get that full coverage on that gear. You got to get a full indication on the gear in a nice even pattern. You know, not too high on the ring gear, not too low, not too, you know, only touching at one edge or the other, or whatever, you know, or wonky, or, so yeah, I know what to look for, and the tolerance is easy, you know, as long as I'm between that one and, here's the 15, 6, 7, where are we? Well, that's the maximum. Yeah, that's the maximum. And it's the max. And it's 0.8, 0.9. Is it 0.5? Well, anyway, yeah, between 0.5 or 5 thou and 8 thou is factory, and 15 is maximum for on the road warning. So I'm going to try and go roughly about factory spec new ish. I don't want to be tight. Like I think 5 would be too much, but if we can get somewhere, you know, if I can't get the 8 in, like I had it set up there the first time. Like if I can't get the 8 in there, but I can get the 5 or 6 in there, I think, you know, and slide around reasonably easy, I'm going to be pretty happy at that. But yeah, we're somewhere close to that. Even if it's, you know, 9, I think we'll still be fine. You know, we're still well within tolerance. And this is a worn set of gears, so but yeah, as long as we're in that ballpark, we'll be good, I think. Right, I'll catch you after lunch. Right, I shifted over to the other bench within this vise that I can turn around. I can actually get in here and have a decent look over the back, and then I can stand around here and screw around with the front side of it. Still a bit more open. You know, and I can turn it around and twist it around the way I want to have a decent look. Measure shit, I just thought it might be easier on this swivel vise. So what I've just quickly done, I just tweaked just around a couple of, well, a notch. And I've just tweaked this around a notch, and just to get a feel. It feels pretty nice. It's I wouldn't say it's tight, but it feels alright for preload. Doesn't feel like there's any slack. I don't change anything that way or that way. I just gave it a wee nip up while this was out. And it's still set where it was set before. So hopefully, when I wind this pinion back in, we get the depth right. So I can't get anybody higher anyway. When we get the depth right, can I stick that up there? No, I can't. But when we get the depth right in here, hopefully we don't have to shift anything again, you know what I mean? Like it was still set where it was before. I haven't changed anything in here. So hopefully, sorry. Just get a wee bit of oil again. Just lubricate. Oh, there's plenty of oil in there, that's right. Plenty of oil in the housing. Drink plenty. One was in here. Hopefully, we can get a, still get a nice engagement, if you know what I mean. Me heavy one. We'll go straight around and see. If you guys can see anything or not. To help you? Maybe. No, I can't get the borderline to get the 15 in there, but not quite. Probably just a little outside of where I would like to be. Jump to 13. Right, I'll try 8. We'll go back to maximum stock new parts. So we can definitely get that in there. Oh, we'll try the 10 then. We'll try the 10. I think we're about 10. That'd probably be right. We're not using new stuff. I don't know if I should just take. I can always back this off one, bring that over one. Just do that. Pull a 5 out, but I can't pull an 8 out. I think that should be pretty good. We'll just see what it is. Let's see what it is. Yes, it's a 7. Right, that's cool. It's on the slightly looser side of stock. Nicely locked in. Right, then we'll check our pattern. Let's see. What a mess. Yeah, you see that, did you? Alright, I'll see what happens. I'm the wrong way, aren't I? What are you doing, son? What are you doing? fairly fucking even to me. Looks fairly even to me. Pretty even, got even a mark across there. A little hard to tell. I might just clean her off, we'll have another wee look, we'll have it go again. That again just to make sure. Alright, better. Get the shit mixed up now. Pretty good to me. Just put a hold a wee bit of load in that drive gear. I'm trying to pass it again. Pretty fucking good to me. I might take a couple of photos of that and I'll send it to somebody. Might send it to the Who's famous Wayne Reynolds. Rightio, Mr. Wayne Reynolds. What do you think of, since I haven't fucking done this a lot, what do you think of that engagement on those teeth? Looks okay to me, but it's a bit hard to tell because I'm using blue instead of like yellow fucking paint. But that's not too bad to me. What do you think? Oh, I got one yes confirmation. I'm just waiting for the Mr. Wayne Reynolds because he rebuilt a lot of truck diffs and gearboxes and all that sort of stuff. The myth, the man, the legend that nobody ever sees. Doesn't have a YouTube channel with his own, and just takes the piss out of us all. But yeah, I think we're good. Pretty sure we're good. So yeah, my plan is, hopefully, to sit it on that bucket to paint it. When I do the rest, we'll test fit it over there in there. So we can paint this bloody thing when we get a chance. give it a wee wash down and whatever. But yeah, I think we're good. Pretty sure we're good. I'm pretty happy with that engagement. Like I said, I haven't done a lot, but it's some common sense. Make sure it's not down in there too tight, make sure the teeth are fairly even, you know, and as long as you've got a good even thing and it's not too high and it's not too low, and you can get your feeler gauge in there within factory tolerances. You know, we're right in the dead smack in the middle of you know, new parts, so not to say this is new parts, but you know, we're right, you know, if you found, you know, some point down the road, down a few miles, and you was getting really close to that, outside that factory tolerance, you know, for the maximum, you know, you'd adjust it close to back to new parts and keep going. You know, if it was getting a bit warm, you know, you could bring it back up, and as long as everything was all good and you didn't have any really uneven wear, I suppose, you know, that's what you would do. But it looks good to me. It's not as though we've got a new one, so we're doing the best we can. But I'm pretty happy. I'd just like to, you know, get a confirmation from a couple of buddies, but William from Iron Horse reckons it looks good, so we'll say that's 2 yeses. Mine and his. So yeah. Oh, so I did it work perfectly to paint it. The only thing I do is I got to nip up the dry flange nut because I can't hold it steady enough to get it around that last little piece to put split pin through. And I've got to get a smaller split pin through, split pin, cotter pin, what do you want to call it, through this one. So a little lock nut in that. The other one doesn't have one, it's just got a spring washer on it. So yeah, that bucket will work perfectly to paint it, so we don't get any overspray or anything on the gears, so that's fine. I did contemplate pulling that out of the housing over here and seeing it in that, but I thought, well, that bucket might be close, and it is, so we'll use the bucket. That'll work perfect. Spray a coat of black around that when I'm ready. So long as nobody kicks it over, we'll be fine. So yeah, well, we might call it there for a day, and I'll go sort some of my own crap out. Righty guys, yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Not quite sure if this is the end of the video or not, but it's kind of where we're at the moment. So yeah, it's taken a couple of days to get that sorted, but just need a little bit more info and just double check a few bits and pieces and whatever. And yeah, we've got it sorted. I had to strip that back apart, sort that seal out because it was just too tight. I couldn't get a feel for it. But yeah, we got there in the end. And as far as I'm concerned, it's all meshed up right. Tolerances are good. So for the backlash. So yeah, we'll just go from there. Get it painted, get it in the back end. I can probably pull the axles out now, throw the bearings on them, and get them ready to slot in the hole and get that painted. I haven't worried about them yet, but all the bearings and everything here for it, so I just got to push them off, put them on. Might do that tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see. Get some of that shit sorted. So yeah, we're getting closer to getting those little pieces painted. So anyway, we'll catch you later on. Cheers.
Welcome to Iron Outlaws. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this.